How do I feel about that? That's how I feel about that. The glasses are beautifully designed. I'm proud to speak about them. I'm buying Tom's glasses from now on. Is this a Tom's commercial? Not really. I'm just speaking my belief. Interesting so far? So Tom's is the case study to look at for creating meaning and connectivity and belief. And by the way, low cost, yep. Remember we talked about our admin madmen? I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure that these guys are not spending a hell of a lot of money like other companies do on ads. Interesting? The real question here is this: are we really touching a raw nerve out there? Something that is close to what is going to happen in the future, something that will change the world, something that will change perceptions, because the perceptions of the market are changing already. The kids are waking up. Gen Y is very impatient, and they're not all dumb computer-playing kids. There's some very sharp individuals, and they will change society for us. Tom's is doing it, Zappos has done it. Well, AirAsia is not Gen Y, but they're changing the world right now, here. And so the real question, sorry, wrong button. The real question for me is, what is our mission? And this is one thing that I want to invite you to do. Really, this is the invitation. Not the only choice we have, a winning choice we have is go back from today and start a revolution. Don't set the house on fire. Go back and check out your ad agency. Go out and check out your company. Go out and bring the case studies in. And the revolution that we can engender by educating our companies. And if you have an ad agency, educate your client. We cannot go on with more of some meaningless product. The choice that we have is to create that meaning and go, what is the meaning we represent? And by educating, people have a chance to change the way they perceive the world. And all of a sudden, we have the chance to create movements. It's not about brands and companies anymore. It's about movements. And this is what it looks like. This is a traditional versus a normal and modern company nowadays. You can check it out, you know. Traditional is siloed. The new one is collaborative. Old one is product focused, the other one is customer focused. Me Too offerings versus unique offerings, da-da-da-da-da. It's a little chart that you can check off, and if you want to, I'll be glad to send you the slides. It is literally, we cannot just offer products and services anymore. We are now in the education revolution business and say the insanity must stop. We gotta think new thoughts. And that's powerful, that's meaningful. Because last not least, obsolescence is only a step away. And I love this picture. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Gouverneur, is now so desperate that he will stand in front of a screen and say, ask me anything. Which means that his brand is pretty much shot, isn't it? Time does pass. Things do change. It's time to start a brand new conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here, and I trust it was interesting. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. I don't know how you feel, but it's perfectly a wake-up call, literally, right? It's a question and answers time. You've forgotten. Yeah, anyone, where are the mics? Okay, anyone has question?
Questions? Tomatoes, rotten fish, anything is accepted.
Shoot him, if you
Sorry?
want. Nothing.
Shooting? Okay, also accepted. Questions, guys?
Shoot him with questions, what I meant. Anyone?
I'll come later. Questions? I'm okay.
Okay, there.
Morning.
Morning. There's an interesting point about gate crashing the party, the bonfire, and most companies don't know how to do that well. And would it make sense that we have ambassadors or surrogates to go gate crash the party on your behalf?
Love the question. It starts before that. So the question was, can we gate crash the party by sending the ambassadors? Is that clear? When you look at the case study of all these companies who are doing it right, it's almost, again, if we send an ambassador, it is like a paid intermediary who will sing the song. Is that clear? For example, if you look at Method or Tom's, people get so excited by the very idea of what you're about to do, what you want to change, that they voluntarily go, I want to be a part of that. So your question is almost, we have this product, now how the heck do we get the people like, hello, you're the ambassador, can you go there? So the question is, revisit the product and see, what is it? Like Method says, people against dirty. We want you to be safe and healthy in your house and have a clean house, and your family will be safe and healthy. That makes sense, and they make it sexy. The good design, fun approach, and people go, that's a good story. In the case of Tom's, remember, they start with, we're going to help the poor, and that is very appealing. So the best way is initially revisit the story you have and go from there. And go, what product do we have? What could be possibly, arguably, develop as a true value to society and humanity? And it starts from there. And then the ambassadors take care of themselves. They will come to you. Does that make sense? The next step is that we sit down and look at your specific product or company. And then we say, what specific story can we develop from there? It's not a story, it's a real change of heart, a real change of philosophy. Fair? So it's not about sending ambassadors. Actually, they have to come to you and go, can I play with you guys? I love your team. Yeah? Thank you for the question. So like I said, coffee, we can talk about your specific scenario. Cool? Thank you. Questions?
Any more, guys? Just to be sure, he's not a motivational speaker, right?
Sorry?
You are not a motivational speaker.
No, I'm not a motivational speaker. Motivation doesn't work.
Specific, real cases and help companies
Motivation
overcome the
doesn't work.
barriers.
Motivation shampoo. You put it on, you wash your hair, and it's gone. Yes, sir.
Hold on.
Sorry, quickly. They can't hear you. Sorry, sir.
Do you think this business of Tom and what do you call that, the methods, are they sustainable over a long period of time? Or
Method,
is there good entry, getting into the market, but is it sustainable over a long period?
Method was just sold for over $200 million to another company. Because you grow by acquisition, so some companies are smart enough to go, whoo, we missed that one. Method is existing, it's viable, it's growing, and it was bought up by a big conglomerate that understands that now they have to change their story. Fair enough so far? Tom's has been around now for over 10 years and is growing every year. It's the same thing with Zappos, right? Zappos is the same thing. The Zappos story about happiness, delivering happiness, they've been sold after 10 years from 0 to 10 for over $1.3 billion. That's pretty sustainable to me. And they're owned by Amazon right now. Strange, huh? So no, the truth is, your question is valid, and this is what we call, the perception filter that we have. Is it viable? It is viable. So please don't trust me at all. Please go and study these case studies. They're there and they're real. Yeah? And I really appreciate the question. Really do. Fair? Questions?
Is there any questions on the Twitter feed? There's one question. Okay, let's flash that question for Roger.
When are you leaving?
Which MNC do you think has been most successful in finding purpose?
That's a really good one. That's a really good one. Let me think about that. Can I come back to you? Seriously, I'm not being funny here. It's a good question. I don't know the answer right now.
So I gave the question, and I have an ulterior motive.
Sorry?
So I want to explain the context of my question. So the case studies that Roger shared with us, a lot of that I see so far, Roger, a lot of them are niche, small companies, and they want to find a niche alternative voice. And purpose, marketing, starting a movement is great for that. So in that context, I am interested, just from a personal opinion, Roger, which MNCs you think comes closest to defining a purpose? And I think Guy has something to ask as well.
Yeah, well, I've got an example of that, actually. Sorry, I've got an example of that, and it's actually a Unilever brand, and it's actually Lifebuoy in India. So if you know anything about...
Lifebuoy the soap?
Lifebuoy the soap. So
okay.
Lifebuoys spend a lot of time talking about how basic hygiene and basic cleanliness can save the lives of a lot of kids who die from stupid diseases that we don't die of, from diarrhea-based diseases. And there's a great campaign online that you can look at on YouTube, which is all about how they're working with some of the villages in India, which is some of the worst.
So they're actually changing society by their work.
Actually changing society
Brilliant.
Through basic hygiene, which you do with Lifebuoy soap.
Brilliant.
And I think that's a very good example of what you're talking about.
That's right on the money. Thank you so much. That's right on the money. They're changing society and can prove the point. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Guy. Just for the record, I didn't pay Guy for mentioning that from Unilever. Yeah, just so you know.
Yeah.
Any last question? And then we will move on to tea break.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Roger.